Americans are not welcome here in Europe anymore. You've probably heard comments like this when browsing on social media. With all the political tensions between the US and Europe lately, many of you have asked me if Europeans have become hostile towards Americans. And if you're worried that the changing political landscape might ruin your dream of returning to Europe, you are not alone. As someone living in Europe for almost a decade, today I'm here to answer to you this question. And it's not what you think. We start with the reality of everyday life. Picture this. You've finally made the move to your dream European town. It can be any of the countries we recommend in our videos. Greece, Spain, France, Italy. The sun is shining, the coffee is perfect, and then your neighbors knock on your door. But instead of a warm welcome, they launch into a rant about American politics. Does this sound plausible to happen for you? No, right? I started with this story because first I want to talk about something fundamental that we often forget when watching the news. Most people's daily lives aren't dominated by politics. This is true in America and it's just as true in Europe. Think about your own neighborhood for a moment. When you meet a new neighbor, do you immediately ask about their voting record? Of course not. You talk about the weather, your gardens, local restaurants, or your pets. You might discover shared hobbies or interests. Politics might never come up at all. The same is true in Europe. Most Europeans are focused on their own daily lives, their families, jobs, hobbies, and local communities. They are not sitting around thinking about American politics all day. In fact, in many European countries, it's considered somewhat impolite to discuss politics with people you've just met. It's viewed as a personal matter, something to be discussed with close friends, if at all. One time per week, more or less, I meet with some friends here for drinks, and I don't know about the political orientation of any of them, except for one that always makes sure that everyone knows about her preference. You can try to guess her orientation in the comment section. The individual matters more than the passport. What I've consistently found during my years living in Europe is that Europeans judge Americans as individuals, not as representatives of their government. Europeans are generally quite good at separating their opinions about American foreign policy from their feelings about individual Americans they meet. In fact, many Europeans are quite curious about Americans and enjoy learning about life in the United States from an actual person rather than from movies or news reports. Probably, what matters most to your future European neighbors will be, first, are you friendly and respectful? Second, do you make an effort to learn the local language? Third, do you try to understand and adapt to local customs? Fourth, are you a good neighbor? 5. Do you contribute positively to the community? If you can answer yes to these questions, you likely find yourself welcomed warmly regardless of who happens to be in the White House. Western Europeans have seen many US presidents come and go. And here is an important perspective. Western Europeans have observed decades of changing American administrations. They've seen Democrats and Republicans take turns. They've witnessed political shifts in America many times before. For older Europeans especially, American politics is just one more cycle in a long history they have witnessed. They've lived through their own political changes also and understand that governments come and go, but people remain people. Many Europeans themselves don't agree with their own government's policies, and they extend this understanding to Americans as well. The experience of Americans currently living in Europe. I've spoken with dozens of American expats across Europe, and the overwhelming consensus is this. Nothing has changed in how they are treated day to day. And this feeling is reflected by multiple polls when people are asked which nationality they sympathize the most. In Poland, for example, an institute called CBOS makes such polls, and this year Americans passed the Italians and took the first place among the nationalities that polls have more sympathy towards. Yes, there are some places where the image of the US is a bit tarnished, like Denmark due to all the issue around Greenland, but Europe has many countries and perceptions vary. In most cases, the fears that Americans would suddenly face hostility simply haven't materialized. Instead, what should materialize is your click on the like button of this video. Let's also consider the practical side. Many European countries actively court American retirees and expats because they bring economic benefits. You'll be spending your retirement savings and pensions in the local economy. You likely buy or rent housing. You pay local taxes. You might even create jobs if you start businesses or employ household help. European countries with retirement visa programs like Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Greece aren't going to suddenly reject Americans because of political changes. These programs exist because they benefit the host countries economically, and that economic benefit doesn't change with political winds. If you are still concerned, here are some practical tips that will help ensure you have positive interactions with Europeans, regardless of the political climate. First, and most important, try to learn the local language. Even imperfect attempts are appreciated and show respect. In the comment section, I left the link for the software that I used to learn multiple languages while having fun, so check it later. Second, be curious rather than comparative. Ask questions about local customs instead of constantly comparing everything to how it's done back home. And this curiosity tends to try local stuff. In one of my videos, I told the story of an American living in France who preferred to go to McDonald's instead of good local restaurants. I know he has the right to choose whatever he wants, but you cannot expect the locals to not find this derogatory. Third, stay informed about local issues in your new community. Being aware of what matters to your neighbors shows that you care. Fourth, find common grounds beyond politics. Shared interests in food, music, sports, or hobbies create stronger connections than political agreement ever could. 5. If politics does come up, listen more than you speak. Be open to learning about different perspectives. 6. Remember that you are new in their country, just like a new person in an office. So a humble and appreciative attitude goes a remarkably long way. 7. Build a diverse social circle that includes both expats and locals. This gives you a support network and helps you integrate more deeply. And by the way, if you're watching this video, you may be planning to move abroad to live better, save money, and cut taxes. I've written 3 top-rated books on living abroad. Find them by scanning the QR code in your screen. Now, I want to be completely honest with you. You might occasionally encounter someone who wants to discuss American politics or has strong opinions about the United States. This happened before the recent election, and it will continue to happen regardless of who is president. When this occurs, remember, one person's view doesn't represent an entire country. How you respond matters more than what they say. A polite, "I understand your concern, but I would rather enjoy our time together talking about other things," often works well. And fourth, sometimes humor can diffuse tension. Being able to laugh gently at stereotypes shows confidence. These occasional conversations are not reasons to abandon your retirement dreams. They are just part of the normal experience of living abroad in any era. Focus on what you can control. Ultimately, you have no control over who gets elected in either your home country or your adopted one. What you do have control over is how you present yourself and interact with others. By being respectful, engaged, and positive presence in your new community, you create your own welcome. There is actually a beautiful opportunity here. In a world that sometimes seems more divided, your decision to live among people from another culture creates a bridge. Every positive interaction you have helps break down stereotypes and build understanding. So, to answer the question that is being worrying so many of you, no, you should not delay or cancel your plans to retire in Europe because of recent political changes. Most Europeans don't care nearly as much about US politics as you think they do. In fact, your daily interactions in Europe will likely have nothing to do with who sits in the White House. So if that's what you want, keep planning, keep dreaming, and keep preparing for this exciting new chapter of your life. And to help you, I made a special video with the best places for retirement in 15 European countries. It's the most important video I ever made because it answers more questions than any other. To watch, click on this video here at your left.